Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to the Global Leaders of Change. To those who are guests, we say a very big welcome to you. This is a leadership program that we are running for the past 1 month, and it actually hosts from June to July, where we train young leaders on various leadership competence. And so if this is your first time joining our session, we want to say a very big thank you and welcome to our platform. So without much ado, I'll quickly introduce our guest speaker for today and this morning as well. So our guest speaker is Mr. Prosper Tornyi, who is a trained electrical engineer working predominantly in an agile management, project entrepreneurship, data and community-driven environment devoted to social justice through youth development, project management, employability skills training, and personal branding. During his formative days in high school, he fell in love with poetry, wrote stories for the graphic communication group, The Mirror Graphic, and subsequently recited some of the poems he wrote to hone his public speaking skills and overcome timidity. With a dream of transforming lives, connecting young people and talent in rural and pre-urban communities to life-changing opportunities, he founded the Pros Right Foundation in 2014 to co-create mentorship, personal development, educational opportunities to expose these talents to plethora of opportunities to become active global citizens, solving problems in their communities with the knowledge and skills gained. He enjoys having conversation around leadership, community design, and management for sustainability, moderating sessions, and mentoring young people in area of personal development and careers, entrepreneurship, nonprofit management, research, business, and STEM education. Quite recently, he facilitated the Common Purpose Future Leaders Experience as the guest speaker at the Cafe Conversation with 100 students of the University of Sussex, UK. Mr. Prosper Tornyi, I'm very honored to have you here, and I can't wait to learn from you. And we want to say this platform is yours, and we are willing to share, to listen, and also to contribute. So thank you so much for making it, and we are highly, highly privileged to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, please, you are.
Okay, that was a very interesting profile, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Good morning and good afternoon to all of you joining, depending on which part of the country you're joining us from. When Ernest told me about this initiative, I was like, okay, great. I think this is a good way to kind of share our experiences and also get to learn from other people. And so today, my whole objective is to do just that. And so I'll be happy to receive your questions, to also get to learn from you if you have similar experience. So yesterday, before I left the office, I was thinking, should I do a presentation or I should just flow? But by the time I left, I realized that I had to do something creative. So Ernest, I decided to put some slides together to have a very colorful engagement. So if you would, I'll be happy if you can make me co-admin so I can quickly present my screen. I think I have the option to share screen.
Yes, please, you have the option.
Okay, give me a second. Wow. Okay, for some funny reasons, I can share screen. So, Ernest, this is what I will do.
Yeah, you can share it with me.
Yeah, I'll share it with you right now.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll share that with you right now. Okay, so whilst we are figuring that out, I want to begin with this. The topic for today is on getting access to, volunteering opportunities. How do you get access to that? for most of you, volunteering may sound like just going out there, taking advantage of opportunities and not getting any benefit from it. But it's really far from that, right? So I would be sharing a bit more about some of the things I did when I had my first opportunity to volunteer. So in 2014, yeah, 2014, I had a very interesting life changing experience. And with that, I realized that there are a lot of things that we need to take advantage of, but we are not doing that because we think that volunteering doesn't pay. So we just don't take advantage of it. But it goes beyond that. For someone who, when you identify what skills you want to hone, you go all out, you learn, you explore, you make mistakes, and then you implement. These are the things that were guiding me at the time. So to begin with, what do you know about volunteering, or what does volunteering mean to you? If you have any response, kindly put them in the chat box. When someone mentions volunteering, what comes to mind? I want to hear all the words that come to mind when someone mentions volunteering. So do share them in the chat box, and then I will be happy to read them. So volunteering, what does it mean to you? If someone comes up and says, okay, volunteering, what are some of the things that comes up in your mind? I'll be happy to read the first 3 people who share that in the chat box. And as if you see some, kindly read it out for me.
Okay, so personally, I typed adding value to others, and
okay.
I think Emilia said act of serving your generation through any positive means. Okay, so I'm waiting for others to share. Please, you can leave your comments in the chat box and I would kindly read them out. Okay, so Mr. Adams Karim says that to me, volunteering means sharing your skills and expertise for the benefit of society or any just cause without expecting monetary return. That's what Mr. Karim said. And for Phoebe, she said freely giving out. And for Chivalry, she said volunteering to me is giving out a service for free, or rather out of heart. Nadia Sarah says that service to the community with the aim of gaining experience and not expecting any money.
I mean, these are some of the things that I'm really looking forward to hearing, and you guys have really hinted that. If you haven't shared yours yet, please go ahead. I finally got the presentation to, and so he will be pushing it up shortly, so then we'll go by it. Okay, so those are some of the things I want us to hint on. What do you already know about volunteering, or what have you been informed about volunteering? So on the screen is what I want us to get into. Volunteering comes with many benefits. So one of the things that you want to volunteer is your time to a cause that you are very passionate about, a cause like fighting for social justice. As we all know, we're over 100 billion globally, and resources are not adequate enough to even reach the less endowed in our community. So there is a need for folks who are advocates or who have that skill to fight for other people in communities to be able to get equitable access.
Hello, Mr. Prosper.
and education challenges. And one of the things that they said, which came up that struck me, was that governments, in their bid to get loans to improve on sectors within their countries, they end up cutting budget for education and healthcare, making it very difficult for people to get access to the work that they have to. So it makes it very tight. They are unable to really deliver on the core deliverables for the young people that they need to serve. So they rather push the resources they have into other areas, which is very, very wrong. So what are we changing? What do we want to change? A course, right? A course. And let's move to the next slide. So when you identify some of those purposes, you realize that it is very important for you to go in and drive something that is very important. So let's be around the volunteering, and you can just see briefly what I want you to benefit from this presentation. Now let's move to volunteering, and I'll hint on some of the key things. So when it comes to, I decided to put it in three parts. So there is human and financial resources. So human resources, that you are in a community and a particular organization wants to embark on a project. You have the human resource knowledge, you have the human resource, you have people who can come out in their numbers to support a cause. What you have to do is to be there for them. If they need a financial resource, you now put out a cause for people to kind of donate cash or make some kind of contributions to make things work for them. If it is about time, someone is mourning a beloved or is mourning a family member, you choose to spend time, listen to them, and you don't request for a payment for that, because at the end of the day, you earn something. Then the expertise is, if you have a knowledge in, let's say, project management, you have a knowledge in Microsoft, how to analyze data and things, you are ready to help people when they need that. Whatever tools they need, the attention, you provide that for them. There are several quotes that really inspire me and have to do with what's his name? I forgot his name. And it's screw up for me to read his quote. Martin Luther King. Yeah. So Martin Luther King said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. How to serve. You don't have to make yourself and be served. You don't have to know the sector dynamic. You only need. This is what I want us to focus on. The key items that we ought to take note of. The key good, there is service, and then the one that has to do with being great. The second quote is from Elizabeth Andrew, and Elizabeth says,
Yeah, Mr. Prosper, it looks like the line is breaking. I don't know if others are experiencing same.
okay,
Yeah, the line is breaking. Actually, I can't seem to get him. So,
hello,
yeah, Mr.
can you guys
Prosper,
hear me?
now we can hear you. It was breaking.
Okay. All right, so let's get back into it. Okay, so on this particular quote from Elizabeth Andrews, she said volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. Yes, you would have 8 hours in a day, you may have 24 hours in the day, but you just have a heart because you believe that the cause you are fighting for makes sense to you and the people that you are delivering that cause to. So we need to bear that in mind, that in as much as you want to support, or in as much as you want to make meaning in the life of other people, you want to do it with the heart, without making any gains in return. If there are gains in return, then you should be thankful, but that shouldn't be the reason why you want to. Then this is how things started with me. So in 2014, I was in my second year studying engineering in the university, and I was like, okay, I need to take a year gap, go volunteer, do something out of the blue and come back. At that time, I didn't know where to get the opportunity from, but I realized that there was this opportunity that came up on campus. They shared it on our notice board, and I took the chance, looked at the document, and it has to do with a project up north, which was facilitated by Canada World Youth in partnership with Student Youth Travel Organization. Mind you, at the time, I was very skinny. I think I'm still like that. You can see from the picture, I'm wearing like a blue black, holding two kids around me. And this was a community that I was in. Karim is from that part of the community, so he will be very familiar with this place. We were there for the past 3 months. It's a 6-month project. The whole idea is for you to get into the community. You are providing SME support to farmers who are into share barter, and then you also identify a need in the community, and then you support the people with. So this was me when I spent the 3 months in the community with other colleagues, Canadians who also joined us. I realized that there was a need. Where I lived, there was a solar panel in the house of the chief. I spent the whole time there and realized most of the community had no lights. So what can I do to help them? I decided to put together a class teaching them maths, English, and science. And the whole idea was to, by the time I leave this community to the next place where we're having our project, I would be able to, account for or present what we've done. And thankfully, these 3 students you've seen, or these 3 kids you've seen, came out really well. The first lady holding the book was the first person. She taught math and English. The second lady was the second, and then the young man was the third. I was so elated. Why? Because at the time that I was on the project, I hadn't thought about this, but when the idea came, I conceived it, and then I decided to prepare them for the things they need, how to write in English, how to use the skills they have garnered in mathematics to move on. It was from this initiative that I birthed my nonprofit, but I'll come to that pretty shortly. Then we moved to Canada to finish the last phase. And this was also my first international travel. And I would say I didn't see it come in as much as it was part of the course. My goal was to learn. My goal was to effect change in the community. So I was fortunate to live with a family in there. Whilst in Canada, I had to volunteer with an STI preventive health facility. So what basically we're doing is to give caution to people who were having sex at the time, but they had to have safe sex, providing them with contraceptives and things like that, and also learning about the health system. With the family that I stayed with, this is how it works. Whenever you are doing volunteering work with international organizations, or you're being paired with that, a host provides you with, the organization provides you with a host family that you live with. In my case, I didn't have a choice, but I was praying that I would be paired with a family that works in the university. And I was very happy when they mentioned that, oh, I was paired with a family at the University of New Brunswick, UNB. And this actually changed my life. It was a family that I was looking forward to. And in this particular picture, we were having a Thanksgiving dinner in around that time at Fundy National Park. Why am I sharing all of this with us? The goal of this is you want to understand and learn about culture. You want to understand and appreciate people for who they are and what they have. As I mentioned in my first submission, while I was in the community, this was where the whole initiative of inspiring, supporting, and then equipping young people came forth. So in 2014, the whole idea came up fully, not formed, but I was working on it. When we finished the project, I was still working on it. In 2015, I had traveled to my home community in the Volta region called Battle to initiate this. And then in 2016, I had Marcus come in to, provide us with support. The pull-up banner, let me tell us a story about the pull-up banner. The pull-up banner you see over there was given to me by a senior friend back in uni. When I told him about this, he just printed it. He didn't take money from me. When we were going to my home community, the t-shirts that we wore, a friend from church just printed it and then gave it to us. When we went to the community, my hometown, my proprietor back in when I was in primary JHS then gave us the apartment. We only paid just a half percent of it, so we should stay there. And these are some of the benefit that comes with you having good intention to kind of impact your community or your society. In moving on, I want to pose this question to us, and I'll be happy to have your response in the chat box, and as we read it out. What are your goals for being part of a course? So if you're on a call right now and you are a part of a course that you're driving, what goals do you have? What do you intend to learn? What are your aspirations on that? I'll be happy to actually pick that in the chat box so Ernest can read them out. Kindly type them. It can just be a word. It can just be a long sentence or whatever. What are your goals for being part of a course if you are actually involved in that right now? So Emilia said purpose, passion, and pursuits. Yeah, Ernest said learning how to learn and unlearn, which is true. I'm still reading. Please, if you're on the call, just type out what are your goals for being part of a course. Any course that you're a part of. If you are working full-time, what really are your goals of being part of that? Is it the monetary gain? Is it the professional development? Is it building network? So please keep sharing them in the chat box and I'll be happy to read them. Okay, so for Adam says for him, the first and foremost is to see the vision of the cause being met, and then secondly, to improve on his skills and potential, and to finally network, meet new people from diverse cultures and to appreciate those cultures. McCaffrey says to make impact and build network. Phoebe says do something rewarding to help alleviate safety pain. And Nadia says learn new skills, networking, and bringing about change. Harrison says to succeed with the course. Emmanuel says helping people choose career and joy. That's teaching and net connecting with those people do. And Anne says personal development network. So I could see there is a three core things running through: networking, learning new skills, on learning, cultural nuances and cultural dynamics, which is key. And as we can move to the next one. So these are the reasons. So whenever you want to do something, you ask yourself questions. Now you want to get on to techniques that you can hone to seize the opportunity. The first one we have to do with self-assessment. Day in, day out, we evolve. Whilst you were a kid, you probably say you want to become a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, and then when you turn 16, 17, that changed into something else. So self-assessment is key, and I can recommend Myers-Briggs self-assessment test, or you can go online and you find system personality test. That is more accurate. It gives you a more accurate information about yourself, the career path, your future aspirations, the way you behave, the way you love, the way you react. Like it gives you very accurate information about yourself, and that helps you know what you want. The other technique is to ask questions. These days, people fail to ask the right questions. They rather want to ask very sarcastic questions, or they rather get to, ask unnecessary questions because they don't really want to learn. So if you want to really seize the opportunities that are available, ask questions. Ask, oh, how can I get access to A, B, and C? Or who knows how I can, get access to the resources that are available. I think with that in mind, we are able to get the right information on time. We are able to prepare the right way we need to, and then we get access to the rooms that we need to get access to. Mind you, nobody cares about where you come from. Nobody really cares about what you're doing. But what really matters is how you come out of wherever you're coming from to, alter change. Martin Luther King was a man who nobody, looked up to at the time, but he changed the narrative. He actually voiced out. And when they marched on that day, 1963, when they were fighting for justice, that was a game changer. And that moment of he saying, I have a dream, became a thesis for many institutions that they are always, going back and forth. So identify what you are good at and go after it. Then you attend workshops to learn. These days, young people don't want to learn. On this particular session, I'm very pleased to have about 16 of us, including me, servicing here, which is great. So these are moments that you take advantage of. If there is a workshop being organized around agro business or anything that pertains to you, you want to go. The core goal is to learn, to connect with people, share ideas, and all of that. If you're a part of a group, let's say you're part of an institution that is into finance or whatever, be part of a professional body. That way you are able to learn. If you're a part of a social network, make sure that you are committed, you are showing forth, you are sharing ideas, you are helping people in a way that would make them, very interested in wanting to be a part of you. These days, people go for events for other many reasons. So you should find your reason for going to such event. How would this event benefit you, or how would it make your work different? And that's something I want us to ponder on. If you want to climb up your educational ladder, you're studying something in a particular space, how do you make sure that at the end of the day, you are interfacing with the world of work without being too distant? You have a circle of friends that when you need a particular resource, they can easily, jump on and help you. You have a source of resources that if today someone calls you, you know how to, be there for them. And these things need to be reciprocal. You should be there for each other. People should understand that when you bring this value on the table, they are able to pay you for it. Workshops like this, if you are able to prepare for it, people value you for what you're doing. So at this point, I would want to actually throw this question to us and also take questions from all of you. How do you seize the opportunity? Currently, what are you doing and how are you seizing those opportunities? And I'll be happy to also hear that during the Q&A session. I want to make my presentation very brief. So first thing I want us to take note of is that know who you are, know what you want to achieve. The second goal is that you have a career. Career is not linear. Career changes. So you might study something right now and be working in a different field. What is very important is to learn about the skills, the values, the things that you are picking along the line. That way, it makes it easier for you to quickly, change. Another thing is to be culturally sensitive. You should be culture aware. You have that cultural awareness. One, you might be volunteering within a particular region. Even in Ghana alone, you don't know other parts of a region and how they do things. So you should be aware the cultural nuances within the particular, community and wherever you go to. If you are traveling, you're doing a volunteering work outside, you should be open-minded. Mind you, folks are not too religious as you are, or folks are not too, um, you know, how you want to perceive them. So be open, willing to learn, to change how you perceive things. Don't have a fixed mindset. Have a growth mindset to want to learn new things and be ready to adapt to situations whenever it comes out for you. Volunteering can come in twofold. There are volunteering work that pays. What payment means is that they give you stipend just to make your work easier. If you are doing some work for institutions, they call you, it's a paid volunteer work. Basically what they're doing is they're paying you for your time because they know that what you're bringing is valuable, or they are giving you stipend, or they're giving you a citation to say thank you. All these things are like, just to appreciate you. But for you going out to volunteer, your end goal is you want to impact, you want to really leave behind something that will be very meaningful. If you're working that one, you're working full time, you need to pay, they have to pay you salary. That's not volunteering. And even at work, this is what you need to do. And this is how your managers can actually see that you are someone willing to learn. If work closes at 5 and your manager tells you, Ernest, Karim, and Joshua, Emmanuel, can you please stay up? We need to finish up with this presentation for our meeting on Monday. I was thinking if you could spend 30 minutes of your time. Yes, you have closed work, you need to go. What do? as a staff, or your manager asks you, what do you say? You can put your comment in the chat box. Would you say I will do it, or I need to go, I have something to do? How would you communicate to your manager? And these are opportunities for you to learn. These are opportunities for your manager to see that if you are due for promotion, maybe being able to stay up a few moments to finish up on what he or she has assigned to you will mean that you can stay up on the job. So these are things that we need to be aware of, that volunteering comes in many ways. At work, you could be asked to stay for a moment to finish up with whatever you are doing. You could be asked to, take some day off to take care of some things at work or at wherever you find yourself. You need to kind of be aware that these are things that you should do. Nadia is saying that I will tell him or her that I will do it, and that's you being honest. Yes, you will do it. Philbert is saying that, yeah, I would gladly do it. And if you don't feel like doing it too, you should also communicate it. Sometimes, maybe I'm sure at that time you have a dinner to catch up on. So you can politely say, boss, is this something I can do over the weekend, so that I would take it up and then do it, because I have to catch up on a meeting. It's about how you communicate to your line manager or whoever asked you to do that. You don't need to, say, hide it and say, oh, I don't want to do this, but because I have to do it, I should do it, right? I'm reading what Philbert says again. So Philbert says, it depends on my schedule, if I don't have any schedule at that moment. Exactly. So if you don't have anything at that moment and you feel you can take on this immediately, you do it, and then you inform your manager about it, which is perfectly fine, right? You do it and you inform your manager about it. So guys, people are getting jobs these days not because they kind of, they kind of find the jobs and all of that. They volunteered in certain roles that people can recommend them for. So before you start looking out for opportunities, look out for how you can, be of value to the other person. First off, it might not be monetary gain, but look at the long term. You get certain roles because someone would refer you to a particular role. I recall during the lockdown, and this will be my last comment, then I'll open up for us to have a conversation. During the lockdown, during COVID, it was very tough. So you can imagine someone looking for a job for you, or looking for an opportunity for you to, then someone shared an opportunity with me at
Yeah, Mr. Prosper, it looks like we've lost you again.
Yeah, we've lost him again.
Yeah, please, he will be joining shortly. Sorry.
Hello. Sorry, I'm back. So I was sharing the experience. So someone shared a role at Amazon with me at the time, and I was so happy that she did. What she was doing was to just find out people who are within that network, who she knows who need an opportunity, and she just shared it. Even though I went through the process at the time, I wasn't having the skill for that particular role. I was very grateful for that opportunity. And the reason why that happened is because she realized that people are going through a lot during that time. So as a volunteer, you need to have certain skills, certain values. You need to be compassionate and actually be thoughtful, have that level of being thoughtful, because that's the only way you can advocate or look out for the help of others, right? That's the only way you can sow seeds that many years to come, people will be like, okay, this person did A, B, and C for me. Talking about professional groups, we have groups like global shippers communities. We have groups like um, how do I even call them? Um, Engineers Without Borders. There are different kinds of groups that you can find, professional groups that you can be a part of. That way, when you need help or when you need some sort of support, they will be there to help you. So at this point, I want us to have a conversation, and I'm open to have your questions. Ernest will moderate that. And if you have any experiences you want to also share, please put up your hand and then Ernest would actually call you in. Thank you very much. But before I go, can you, we can connect on social media. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn as Prosper Tornyi and on Twitter as well as Prosper Tornyi. And you can send me an email as well if you want us to interact or get to learn more about volunteering and how to support our communities. All right. Okay, Nadia has a question. Okay, Nadia, can you go ahead? All right, Nadia, please go ahead. You can unmute and ask.
All right. Thank you so much, Prosper. This is very, very, very interesting that you've put across, and the presentations were so amazing. So I just want to say thank you so much. I guess we have learned a lot. And then probably my question would be, you said you volunteered from around 2014. So probably in terms of volunteering, when you are volunteering, probably how long did you volunteer? And even while volunteering, as we talked of goals, were there goals that you set? Because I have seen people that year in, year out have volunteered and have remained as volunteers, you know? So also in terms of your experience, what would also be your message? Yeah, I think for me, that is just what I would love to ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nadia, and thank you so much. So I would say I started volunteering even as far back in high school. And that was where I came into contact with, advocating for people and being out there. 2014 was my official volunteering experience. That was for 6 months. So we spent 3 months in Ghana and then spent the rest 3 months in Canada at the time. And I would say before you join any volunteering work, you need to kind of outline your personal goals and then the goals of the project. And for me personally was to be diverse, have a cultural awareness, meeting people, network, building my networking skills, and also learning new things. So those were the goals for me, building my networking skills. I'm a very strong networker. That's a skill I have. It comes to me naturally, and I'm able to hone that. And also being able to identify opportunities within a particular region. So I would say where volunteers are hard means that every day you can volunteer for a cause. You don't need to say, okay, this year I'm a volunteer, next year I'm not. It's about how you perceive volunteering. So every year, maybe this year, your company wants to do some outdoor program and they need volunteers. So you sign up to be a volunteer. So it's part of learning. Volunteering, I would say it's a learning process. So if you volunteer for this year, the next year you can volunteer again, but your goal is you want to grow. You want to grow. If you still remain where you are because there are no opportunities, then I think you need to rethink why you're a volunteer. So I would say that have key goals. Why are you volunteering for a cause? Do you just want to travel or do you just want to meet people? You should have those things clearly stated. And at the end of the day, at the end of the volunteering experience, you should mark it out and see what you have improved on. I hope that answers your question, Nadia.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I see a hand up, Tanu. joining from Liberia. Thank you. You can ask your question.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and hello, Prosper. Thank you. It was quite a good one, and I'm amazed by the work that you have done and that you are still doing. I just want to say thank you. But my question is, I also am into the whole volunteering thing, and I just want to know what is your spirit? What is that motivation that keep you going, that keeps you wanting to make a change, make the world a better place, despite you're not doing it for profit making, you're not doing it for you just keep going. What is that? What is that your secret that you know that you have that you want to share with us?
Hmm. Thank you very much, Tanu. I would say that from a very tracking back to being in high school, I had to overcome timidity. I was in a community where I don't know if most of you have heard of this program, Duke of Edinburgh hosts a head of state awards scheme. I think it's very familiar in Ghana. I'm sure in other part of African countries as well. I started very early on, and we were in this community doing some work down the community, and we were getting back, and I got lost. And I think when we got lost, my team got lost. We had a map. We were supposed to look to where we were coming from and get back. And at that moment, I was just thinking, where do we go? Everyone, was looking up to me. I was also looking up to the team members. So they said, okay, Prosper, where do we go? We were at a T junction. And I said, okay, let's pray. I just said, okay, let's pray. And then I said, wherever the road leads, we are getting home. So let's take the middle road. Eventually, when we got out, I said, when we get out, we should see someone shouting for help or someone doing something. And then that means we've gotten to work. And truthfully, when we got there, we saw someone actually say, hey, there are people coming out from this place, come and see them. And we were all amazed. I think for me, it's about genuine improvement in the lives of other people. I always want to put people first. I always want to see people get ahead. I just want to die empty one day. So it's that drive. As much as I'm seeing improvement on my life, I want to actually invest in other people so that at the end of the day, whatever seed you sown, they also go out there to do similar thing. So personally, it's about learning, it's about growth, it's about finding opportunities that will benefit a particular group of people. And also for my community where I grew up from, growing up, grew up from a small family that everyone just doing their own thing. But because I had access to um, media at the time, I listened, I always aspired that I want to be like these people. And these things actually, challenged me to have a worldview of how things are going. So for me, it's about the value, it's about your community, it's about the drive. So just remember that people have done it before. The people that we keep looking up to, that they are mentors, they've done it before. So these are the things that drive me. And you could say that, okay, how long will you be volunteering for? You're a volunteer for life. So you keep learning, you work, you get paid, you consult, you get paid. So you do things to balance out at the end of the day. And so people see you involved in certain things that they think that, oh, you shouldn't be involved in, but because you are a volunteer at heart, you keep doing it. So I would say identify the values, look out for values that define you, understand that we are a community. So always reach out, realize that everyone in the community matters. The janitor, the lowliest of persons in the community, everyone matters. That way you keep becoming great, you keep doing great. And as I said earlier, volunteering is about service. So you remember that serving humanity is the best thing you can do in any other form. I hope this actually answers you, Tanu. Okay. Uh, all right. So I have Phoebe. Havo, please go ahead. with your question.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Phoebe.
Yeah, good morning, Prosper. Yes, thank you so much for your submissions. I do have a few questions. Um, the first one is, do you just volunteer for any opportunity that comes away, or it should be specific? I'm saying that because over the past few years, especially after COVID came and hit, you would see, especially on LinkedIn. I actually had a friend who, okay, so in April, just this April, I'm part of a group where since 2016, we volunteer to transform, very deprived schools in communities we identify. So like preschools to like junior high schools. So we, give a face change, the little we can provide in our own what we raise. That's we just go and present it to the school. If it's students who need tutoring, we do. So our last project it was at Ablekuma, and this is one place where I was actually shocked when I went there and I saw the place. I felt that, oh, I had the time, I was in Accra, so let me use and then join them. And then one of my friends said, "Oh, Fee, please take a photo of me. I have to go and put it on LinkedIn and show these people, you know, because such things are boosting. It boosts your appearance and it adds to your package, or it adds to your CV, adds to a prospective interview, or a job. So I'm asking, is it just every opportunity you just, when you see volunteers needed, then you just go, or it should be tailored to your specific goals or something, or cause? And I'm saying that because I also personally, I started volunteering when I was in 2014 back in university, where I was in the maths department. So they asked that they needed some people to help with the community outreach and then help students prepare for examination, BEC. So that was when I started. But I realized that I find myself in more of an academic setting. So I'm very passionate about STEM. So ex- um, um, the least opportunity I get, which has to do with anything STEM, I always get called to help out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I realized that, okay, this is where I am, and it looks like this is the path I have chosen. But outside that, so that's like a specific something. But
Yeah.
sometimes too, there are other ones. So you realize that there are other things. So volunteers needed. You also have the passion for volunteering. So do you just go, or you should stick to your lane, or something like that?
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Phoebe. I think the background actually to your question really helps the context. For first off, you already have a niche. So having a niche is also great. So STEM is an area that you're more focused on. You're leaning towards the academics. You would want to teach students who are struggling in math, or you want to teach students who are struggling in, understanding a concept, which is great. So I would say that there are no two size fits all. I mean, you can actually do both. You can actually do both. You would be more experience and impacting people who want a particular knowledge or experience in a particular space. So you can focus on doing that as well. Alternatively, if there is a course, you don't have to do more work. All you have to do is, okay, we are cleaning an environment, or you're also passionate about hygiene, then you be part of that particular volunteer work. Or you know how to paint, and they are painting a school and you just want to be a part of that, you can do that. So I would say that it links to your skills, the things that you have learned. So if you're very comfortable with doing those things, you can. So there is an aspect to you, that the technical aspect, which you think this is an area you can volunteer in, and there is a vocational aspect that you feel, okay, you have the experience, you can be a part. So I would say that it's okay to do both. The end goal is you want to learn something new. Even if you haven't learned something new, someone on that day could teach you a way about doing the thing you're used to every time. So as for that, you need to identify what you want to do in each particular volunteering experience. If you want to stick to teaching people a particular skill, you do that every time that opportunity comes up. And talking about taking pictures and sharing, I think that culture is something that has come to stay. Some people would argue it out, but sometimes to you, the one taking pictures, you feel someone somewhere will say, you every time you do something, you want to put it on social media. But the truth is, if you're working for international organizations or NGOs, or you actually want to gain the trust of people to support you, then you're doing the right thing and you're putting content out there. That way they can actually come up and then support you, right? So I would say that have a good balance, not just taking pictures for social media per se, but you're actually you're actually detailing every experience and you're sharing it, and people can actually see the real impact on the floor. Unfortunately, on the ground, unfortunately, these days, people just do it for the sake of it. You don't know the intention. So someone could just ask you, what's your intention about doing what you're doing? And you should respond to them in a way that is very understanding. They shouldn't think that you're just doing it for the sake of what everyone is doing, but you're doing it purposely for that. I also would say there are some people who do volunteer work offline. You don't see them talk about it, but when you go to a community, you see that these people are doing some real work. Their goal might not be to find investors really or find people to support. Their goal is just to have this done in the community, and that ends it. I hope this comment also helps you, Phoebe, and anyone else who wants clarity on this.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Welcome. I see Emmanuel Ospolale. Hey, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Hello, Prosper. Thank you very much. Your presentation for the short time actually was very insightful and very interesting. So my question is like, I'm a manager for like an NGO in a way, but it's very hard to get people to come out for like volunteering opportunity. So I know you have like a foundation. So I wanted to know like, how do you inspire people to like join your cause in what because how do you inspire people to like contribute in the NGO? Like the organization, I mean, the founder is not in Nigeria currently, so I don't know, maybe if that demotivates people from like participating from that. I don't want to know like, how do you motivate people to like, because we are not having good turnout of people coming out to respond when we ask for inputs or to come and help with different stuff. So how do we know to participate? Maybe in chats or even in like when we have volunteering opportunities. So that's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So first of all, I would say what I do with my team, I think largely very young people. These are people who already are working. I have a co-founder. We have a lawyer. We have different folks with different expertise on the team, and we don't actively. Our approach is whenever there is a course, we mobilize and then we execute. Because you want to balance that with full-time work. Your end goal is to actually run it as a sustainable organization. So I would say that let the vision drive your team to actually be involved, because the truth is, if you don't sell the vision to them, or if you don't understand the core objectives of what your organization is about, then it will fall back to you, the manager or whoever is playing that role in there. So find out what really triggers your team members. Sometimes it's not just about mobilizing them for a cause. It's about sitting out and having lunch or dinner, or just sitting out somewhere to kind of catch up and get to know how they want to be, heard and all of that. So you do some activities that really are not extremely like very involving. Then you later consider bringing them on board. So if you want to mobilize for a cause, maybe at your meeting, one of your meetings, you probably ask someone to, take notes and then you ask for, at the end of the day, what actions do you want to execute, and then you put timelines to it, and then you also look out for what resources you might need to execute that. And if you identify the how do I the work plan that you need to go along with, then you probably might have to find a way to mobilize people, put it out there. Because now some folks have the perception that volunteering doesn't pay, um, they wouldn't be involved. But if you have a community of people that are really interested in being part of what the cause, the vision that your organization is driving, I bet you get people showing interest. And also, you mentioned the founder is not in Nigeria. Is there a way that you communicate virtually, or how often do you have touch base with your founder, and what are some of the challenges? I think when you meet up and discuss some of these things, it becomes very, very obvious for you to know which direction to go into. So I would say that identify the people that will be of more, some people are highly involved. So, work with those people and bring along those that will need some push to be involved. And these days, because you are working full time or you're doing some work that's taking much of your time, you need to balance it properly with your nonprofit work or any other thing you do on the side until you have that maximum resource to fully set up to run properly. So I would say that touch base with your founder, find out what is working, what is not working, and how would he or she want you to proceed. Also, meet up with your team, find out a different approach. It might that you can take a day off not to just talk about volunteering work, but just to find out about their interest and all of that. And then you can have leaders who manage small aspects of whatever activity you plan out, and then you will actually put out a call for volunteer for a particular initiative that you intend to run. I hope this helps. Okay, so I think we are 2 minutes late. I'm sure we are all enjoying it, but I'll take the last hand up. Benjamin, if you have a question, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Benjamin.
Yo, bro. Yeah,
Yes.
Benzo here. Benzo.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, I really wanted to eulogize you for how far you've come. I could attest to the fact where you were talking about high school way back when you
Yeah,
used to,
yeah,
volunteer a lot.
yeah.
I recall how you used to report to the dormitory very late. I could sit down and then I'll go like, this guy, although I was your senior, though, I would sit down, I was like, this guy, why is he always on the run here and there, here and there? And for me, I feel it has manifested in your doing so date. You did good, actually. And if there's any reason for me joining all these things, I think it's through you, because I always had passion for this kind of stuff, relating with people of maybe career-wise, like of all walks of life, though. But as to how to get to the link or reach out to people like that, I didn't know how to. So you helped me on all these and how to reach out to people and in all these kind of groups and all that. So I want to eulogize you for this effort and say the sky is the beginning. Keep on keeping, yeah.
Thank you.
You did
Thank
good.
you very much. Thank you very much, Benjamin. That's great. And I'll just put Benjamin on the spot even as he's going off. So Benjamin reached out quite recently about a program that I'm on, and even though he didn't sail through, I was able to, provide some support for him to apply and all through that. And this is how you reach out to people when I mentioned that, because you are hungry to learn, you want to find out how this person has done it. You just don't say, oh, it's by God's grace, but there are processes. So you show them that, okay, you do this, you do that. And that's how people advance. So I would encourage every one of us, when we are done with this session, just go online, go on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, set up LinkedIn for yourself. Find, let's say you are very passionate about education, look out for organizations that are doing some work in education and follow them. And you can even write directly to them that, oh, you would love to be a part of any of their initiative anytime soon. So this is your email and this is how you can get involved. Also have a skill. have a skill. If it has to do with community development, if it has to do with teaching, if it has to do with managing project, or if it has to just do with painting, that's a skill you have. So that's something you can give off to people. I have seen some comments here. We do. Thank you so much for writing that out. I hope anyone else will pick it up. I see someone from a Zoom user. Can we take a last comment and then we will be out of here? I'll hand over to Ernest when we take the last comment. Um, Nadia, you have a question again? Please go ahead.
Um, okay, Prosper. I think mine again is, yeah, I would just love to understand something. Yeah.
Mhm,
Contexts vary.
mhm,
Our different contexts vary. The context where we come from have different have different ways of how things work. Now, I would not say that South Sudan's context is like your context. If I had right, I think you come from Ghana, right?
Yeah, I'm from Ghana.
Okay, so Ghana's context and South Sudan would so much have a difference. For example, probably from high school, you had that opportunity to just volunteer, and yeah, those opportunities were there. But for someone from South Sudan, I think it has been probably a series of war, and up to now it's still war.
Mhm,
Like there are not so many opportunities, and I think that brings me to why I asked if you're to volunteer, you know how long, and if
mhm,
even if someone is going into volunteering, you know how long would the person say I want to volunteer, and then set goals of after here probably where would I want to go. So I think also I was asking that because I wanted to know, you know, if you go into volunteering, depending on the context. So I would give an example that, for example, right now, with this current year, I would think that the students that are now in this current years are better off than maybe years back way in 2015, 2014, 2016 in South Sudan. Yeah. So that is why I asked, because I have been in various organizations. Like last year I worked with IRC, and I think on volunteering, on the day we were celebrated volunteers, there's a man who headed, like he was the head of one of the camps where we worked. And so on that day when he was called to give a speech, he speeched based on he was talking to some of the volunteers, like, I have seen some of you being volunteers for over 3 years now, you know, you have never gone to another step. So how do you remain volunteers for over 3 years? You know, there are people who have come as volunteers, but they are being taken to different positions. But because that is also because they strive hard. So that is still my question. Like, I would want you to help me understand, when one is joining volunteers, they might have different goals. There are those that maybe aim, I would start from here, probably because there is somewhere else I would want to go. There are those that would come in and say, I am coming into this because I want to gain new skills, and then take on to what else, what any other thing I would want to do. And that is still why I asked you. And then I think you said, it doesn't matter the number of years. So for me, that a little bit confused me. So probably I would still need clarifications to really understand this. Yeah, thank you
Okay,
so much.
yeah. Thank you, Nadia. And I'm happy you came back to provide some context to this. So first off, I would say this again. You're a volunteer at heart. It's about compassion, the values, the things that you see. It's not a title, as we might see it to be. So in your context, because of the situation ongoing back home, it's very difficult for even young people to get access to some volunteering opportunities. Thankfully, I mean, the UN or the most of the international organizations will be at beck and call to kind of be available for young people to get access to. But to answer your question, how long? So here's the thing: you finish high school, possibly if you have access to go to university or technical institute, you upgrade. So even from that level, you volunteer into a particular course. At the university level, there's a different opportunity to volunteer to learn something different. So at every stage of your life, you're learning something new, and that's why I say that you don't have a let's say you don't say that you just want to volunteer for 5 years or 10 years. That's a personal thing. You could say that, okay, my 10th year I'll stop volunteering and that's a personal decision, right? But if you are within a space where it is required at work, you need to volunteer about 5 hours to be able to progress to a managerial role or a particular position, then it is needed for you to do that. Your situation is quite different, and I understand that, but then we are hoping that things will change. So anyone who could get an opportunity to even be out of the region to volunteer and maybe get to work in a different organization, that is a level of progress that the person is getting into. I hope I'm hitting on some of the things that you want clarity on. So for the person who said that, oh, you've been a volunteer for 3 years for too long, as an individual, given the context of what is ongoing, if there is no opportunity or gateway for the person to actually come out to move on, then within that spectrum of time, that is what is available, and the person will just be around. But if there is that process of growth, that process of expansion for the person to think ahead and go ahead, why wouldn't you do that? The person would definitely do that. So I would say that with the regions or wherever we find ourselves, also creates room, or makes it difficult for people to actually climb the ladder. So if you're working and there's a volunteering component that needs to be fulfilled for you to get promoted, then you would actually take that seriously. But if it is just an organization that is looking for volunteers and you want to go it for, it's your personal decision. You're choosing that path, right? You're choosing that path to do volunteer for this organization. And then if there's another opportunity that comes up, you are climbing ladder. So let's say that it's a personal decision. And then let's also say that circumstances could also be the reason why people volunteer for long and then they don't advance. So let's get that difference. And I hope this actually explains or responds to your ask, Sarah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we've actually come to the end of this session. I'm really happy to be hosted. I see few folks joining. I think when we started, we were around 16. We were between 17, 19, 18, and now 12. Those of us who stuck with us throughout, so thankful for you. Please do well to send a LinkedIn connection. I'm Prosper Tornyi on LinkedIn and Twitter, Prosper Tornyi. You can also follow my nonprofit on LinkedIn, Proswrite Foundation. Proswrite is PROSWRITES. I'll type that in the chat. And you can also, send hi to me whenever you can. So I would like to say a big thank you to all of you for making time to be with me this morning. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I will hand over the microphone to Ernest.
Okay, so thank you once again, everybody, for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Prosper Tornyi, for such a brilliant presentation, and also for sharing your story and having the time to answer each question that has been posed to you. We are very grateful, and we would like to say we would love to have you more on our sessions. And to other friends and colleagues who join from other parts of the country, we want to say a very big thank you to you, and we would like you to be part of our next project, which will be communicated on the Global Leaders of Change social media pages. So thank you, everybody, and please do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Okay, Florence, yes, sorry, the network, but if you can send your whatever you wanted to share into the chat, I will be happy to read it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone. And let's connect, please. Let's connect online. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Florence is not, she has not typed anything.
Okay, so maybe we can end. She has,
Sure.
how she's, okay. Okay,
Okay.
Florence, please just type it, and then we want to read it before we go. We can do that in the next 1 minute. I think NS will get the recording. I don't know how you registered, but he would find a way to share it.
So Florence, you can kindly speak up.
Okay, hello. Good morning. Sorry, I came in late, but I heard your presentation. Well done. It's a prosper. All right, my experience. Just yesterday, I had a chat with one lecturer at the Accra Technical University, and he was actually telling us his experiences just to motivate us. So he, after graduating, actually, he said he volunteered a lot. All that he did was volunteering, and it's actually helped him to be where he is now. So I think this volunteering thing is something really great for us to do as youth, and as we are learning day in, day out. We have to, any opportunity that comes, I think we have to just fit in and do whatever that we have to do our best. And this will actually help us to be who we want to be. This is the short message I want to give. Thank you very much, Sir Prosper.
Thank you very much, Florence. Thank you for sharing. And I think that's the truth. See, that's the truth. If you want to go, volunteer. If it's just an hour or two, like just volunteer. That's all I will also add to say. And Ernest, I think we can end the recording now.
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone.
So thank you, Florence, for sharing this with us, and thanks everybody. So please do have a wonderful day. Bye.